everybody! It is Friday! Thursday! I said Thursday in my title. I'm just testing you people. Kitty and Jennifer. Kitty beat out Jennifer again. Or we could say it was a tie. Hello, how you guys doing? How are you doing? Angela. Oh, I wish it was Friday. I wish Friday meant something anymore. It is Thursday. It is Thursday. I understand that. And Linda is on. And Dennis is watching me. Or watching with me. How we all doing tonight? Sorry I am so late. It has been a day. That's why it's Friday, not Thursday. No, I wrote Thursday in the title, and then I said Friday. I don't know what the heck. I am tired tonight. It's been a long day. It's been an allergy day, too. It's been a heavy pollen allergy day today. But tomorrow the humidity will be back, so that'll be gone. Hey, Adele and Dazzle, how are you? Hey, Sylvia. Well, the days do run into each other, don't they, Kitty, though? They just sort of flow, you know, but we're getting there. We're getting there. Melissa's watching us on her last night of vacation. Her last night of vacation, and she chooses to watch this. You know, we'll get there, folks. Dana and Jeff, Greta, tell me what we're grateful for, people. Give me our gratitude today. Tell me what we are grateful for tonight. I'm going to plug in our mic just in case here. While I figure out where that plugs in. Maybe. If I can get it in the... Come on here. Maybe I won't plug it in. Yeah, when we work all these days in a row, Kitty, you're right. The days just flow into one another and they don't mean anything. And that's sort of just the way it goes. And that's not plugged into anything. I went through all this work to plug it in, and this is what I find at the other end of the cord. Sawabuna, where are we tonight, Kevin? Sawabuna. Let me see if I can find an electrical outlet here. Okay, how do I have all these plugs here? We have more electronics in this house. Okay. I think I'm plugged in now. Howdy do. Finally a great sales day in July. We had a good day today in sales too. Been a long day, but it's a good day. Calm day evening with birds outside singing. That sounds wonderful, Kitty. That does sound wonderful. Somebody brought you an ice cream cone on your porch, it'd be all set. Zulu. Well, you are taking us around the world, Dennis. I appreciate that as we work through this. Is it a fantastic sales day? We had this discussion the other day. Is it a good day because it's July? Is it a good day because it's sales day because it's a Thursday? Is it a good day because it's a sales day in a pandemic? What justifies good in sales anymore? Yes, they are, and that I'm going to cover again tonight, Twiggy, briefly. But they are all coming around. And it is true leadership. It is a way to lead our way through this. And it's having some issues. But we'll talk about it. your mom is great, and she does not look 79. I mean, you know, and she prices the jewelry. That's awesome, Vina. That's awesome. I always like that. I remember when I was out there with you, and your mom called while we were driving someplace. We were driving someplace, and your mom called. Yes, they do. It is a wonderful day when they not only show up, but open up their wallets. And we gave them some challenges today, especially at one of our locations. We had all sorts of challenges. They were painting lines in the parking lot and had things. We had construction on the opposite side of us. They were putting up a big tent for a restaurant that's next to us. I mean, we did everything we could to say, don't come in here, and still they fought their way in and spent money. There was only one customer we told we wouldn't take them, which was just a new person's mistake in the brief period of time. I mean, you got to appreciate some of the newer. I mean, she's smart. She can be incredibly smart sometimes, and then other times you're like, are you really this blonde? You know, so we had a customer in the store that wanted to buy something, and they had saw it on the website. They came in to buy it, but it didn't have the price tag on it, so the person couldn't sell it to them. And so the customer's like, so I can buy it on the website, but I can't buy it here. We botched that one up, but good. But we'll fix that too. You know, that was a newbie error when we were busy, so things happen. But that is our Thursday, and I'm glad to hear everybody's having a good day, though. That is good. You know, I am a little tired tonight. Rick is with us. Jennifer Dodds is with us, which I'm guessing means Jeff Dodds isn't far behind. Let's see what we got here tonight. I don't like that one. All right. Hang on. I think I did that one. Oh, I like this. We're on page 110 in the Good Morning, Good Night book. The Good Morning, Good Night book is where we're going. It's how we start our program every night. Hey, Kelly, great to have you with you. And I will do a little rain dance for you later then, if you need rain in Albuquerque. Our good morning tonight is good morning. You've had too many apps open for too long. Close your eyes. Check all systems. Soft reboot. That is our good morning today, folks. That is our good morning. Michelle! Great to have you with us. Okay. We have got so much going on here. Come to that. Let me just see what I got in my earlier pile here. American went shopping for clothes again in June. Retail sales jumped 7.5% in June, giving stores and restaurants a boost. And spending on clothing doubled, but that came before a new surge in cases prompted renewed shutdowns in several states. Last month, spending ticked up 1.1% from a year earlier, the first annual increase since the pandemic began to hammer the economy. Retail sales crashed in a historic plunge this spring as people stopped going out. May saw the first bounce back of 18.2% across all types of stores and establishments. Here's where people were spending in June. Clothing and accessory stores up 105.1% compared with a month earlier. So this is June compared to May. Electronics stores up 37.4%. Furniture stores up 32.5%. Sports, music, and other hobby stores up 26.5%. Restaurants and bars up 20%. Department stores up 19.8%. Gas stations up 15.3%. Big box stores 2.7%. Grocery stores down 1.6%, and online retailers down 2.4%. Still, the economic recovery is being hampered as the virus keeps spreading across the nation. The country set a new daily record of reported cases on June 26th, surpassing the previous worst day in April. A number of states have walked back their reopening plans, for example, restricting social gatherings or even reclosing stores, restaurants, and bars. Which has led to another wave of layoffs and furloughs as the unemployment remains in double digits. Many households have already allocated their one-time $1,200 check, and the padded unemployment benefits, which helped boost spending in May and June, are expiring this month. Companies continue to report declines in demand, suggesting that the rate of business reopening may be faster than the rate of customers coming back to stores, said the Federal Reserve Bank. So that is some good news, and I know I've talked to a lot of you guys today that have been concerned. Well, let me cover the next thing, and then we'll go into that. What you guys are concerned about. The mask bandwagon is everybody's getting on board with that. So Target has joined Walmart, Kohl's, Best Buy, Costco, and others are all joining the national call to have customers wear masks. No masks, no service. Used to just be no shirts, no shoes, no service. Walmart and Sam's is effective July 20th, as is Kohl's. Best Buy's was Best Buy and Starbucks was yesterday. While still others, like Trader Joe's, continue to characterize them as a request. Target is delaying their actual rollout till August 1st so they can further train their team and update their messaging in store. They're adding signage and audio reminders to that effect. Until then, its policy is reserved for its own workers. It is going nationwide, and that's going to be good. Although it's going to be hard. The frontline workers are going to be taking it on hard as this implements. And hang on one second here, guys. So let's talk about that just for another second here, because it goes hand in hand with the concerns that I've heard from several of you today, as either conditions get worse in your states or people get more anxious as school reopening plans get announced. And a lot of them that have been announced are remote plans, and so that affects your staff with their kids. That affects everything. That affects your customers coming out. If you're not going to have that, it affects after-school activities. It affects the normal flow of everything, and we can't control all that. Okay, we can't the virus, and we can't control how people react to it. But what we can control is how we run our businesses, how we're there for our customers, and whether that means we're there reduced hours, which we are still doing, mainly because we're not seeing the after-work traffic that we would normally see because people aren't going into the office or places of work or after-school activities and such, at least so far in the Northeast. Or it's that you completely shift things and you work on online sales one part of the week because things are shut down, and you staff for customers on the weekend or something, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And there's no one size fits all answer for that. Hey, Ellen and Mike, how are you? There is absolutely no one size fits all answers for that. But the most important thing is that we keep on moving forward. That we take our goals, that we be stubborn in our goals and flexible in our methods. Okay, being the best in business, and this industry really has the best of anything to have for supply, for longevity. We're going to be amazing and do amazing things, but you have to still be, to be the best in business, you still have to be in business. So we're going to continue to work on that. We're going to continue to improve on that. And the mask policy is a good thing. I think that will help. It will help protect you. It'll protect your workers. It'll protect your customers, your suppliers, and I am optimistic that it will ultimately help reduce the spread of the virus out there. Hey, Lisa's with us tonight too. In other industries, the gyms in New York are suing the state over stalled reopenings. The New York muscle factories have stepped into the ring to challenge Governor Andrew Cuomo's tough guy stance. A consortium of fitness chains in the state have filed a class action lawsuit against Cuomo, the state attorney general's office, and the state itself for not being listed among the businesses allowed to reopen in the Phase 4 reopenings in upstate New York. The suit was filed as soon as Phase 4 went into effect. Fitness businesses charged that the state's action violate the equal protection and due process clauses of the 14th Amendment and the takings clause of the 5th Amendment. Basically, they're taking away our clients' livelihoods, our clients' business, for public use or public purpose, which is, according to the governor, to stop the spread of COVID, the gym's lawyer said. Therefore, pay these people, pay the gym owners, because how are they supposed to survive? In the suit, New York gyms demand full compensation of all the money they lost as a result of being shut down. Also, they want to reopen immediately. Most of the gyms, if they don't reopen within the next 30 days, are going to be done, it was said. But there's a lot of creative approaches. I don't know where that's going to go in court. I never try to guess the courts, but it is an interesting lawsuit on the premise of what they are talking about, how they're fighting it. And that they're fighting for both back compensation and the immediate right to open. So it is an interesting thing. We talked about the national coin shortage, and I have more information on that. The point of sale has a new struggle. Last month, the Federal Reserve said that COVID-19 pandemic has significantly disrupted the supply chain and normal circulation patterns for U.S. coin, and noted that coin deposits have declined significantly from deposit institutions to the Federal Reserve, while the U.S. Mint's coin production decreased due to measures put in place to protect its employees. Meanwhile, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention have recommended grocery or food retail workers encourage customers to use touchless payment options when available and minimize handling cash, credit cards, reward cards, and mobile devices where possible. Retailers, big and small, are reacting. Kroger, Walmart, and Wawa are among several larger retailers responding to the shortage by asking for exact change, electronic payment, or by stopping the return of change altogether. Kroger said it's going to no change. And they know it's an inconvenience for their customers, but they appreciate the patience. Nebraska Angie's with us. Walmart is still accepting cash, although they've converted self-checkout registers. Many have been converted to card-only registers on an as-needed basis. Wawa, the convenience store chain, is requesting customers pay with credit or debit or exact change, and they're letting people sell their coins to to Wawa in exchange for bills. They're still talking about how cashless is going up, but I'm seeing more cash. I'm still seeing. I mean, we had high cash deposits even today, which, I mean, I'm happy to take people's money whichever way they give it. And with our coin, we have not had a coin issue with our banks, although I did forget to actually ask our bank about it. Hey, Kim, how are you? Don't waste your time chasing butterflies. Mend your garden and the butterflies will come. I like that quote from Mario Quintana, a poet, writer, and translator. Ah, there goes my papers. Okay, so hey, Ann, great to have you with us. So there is a bunch of government speak I got to deal with tonight. Hulu is trying to make it easier for small businesses to buy ads. This is actually kind of interesting. I'm going to have to look into this because I do find it interesting, and I do Hulu. Hulu is launching a self-service tool to make it easier for small and medium-sized businesses to buy ads on its service. In a post, the company said it has long enjoyed collaborating with many of the top 200 brands in the U.S., but also wants to accommodate businesses with more modest budgets and who might not already buy ads on streaming TV. The new tool lets advertisers buy with a minimum campaign spend of $500. Hulu is the second major company to launch a self-service ad platform this month. Last week, TikTok officially opened a self-service ad platform that lets companies buy and manage ad campaigns directly. The company also said it would be providing $100 million in advertising credits to small businesses, which it said are uniquely at risk as local economies ceased activity in efforts to protect public health. Major online advertising platforms like Google and Facebook have allowed small businesses to buy directly for years. Snap last year attributed the opening of its own self-service ad platform as a factor in its accelerating revenue growth as the company saw increased engagement. And Hulu's announcement comes the same day as Comcast NBC Universal launched Peacock, its new TV and movie service that will compete directly with the likes of Netflix, Hulu, HBO Max, and Disney Plus. And the service has a free ad-supported tier. So the targeting is simple, kind of like Facebook. I mean, and you set up your ad, you set up your dates, you set up your ad, you set up your budget. It seems pretty simple. So definitely something to check out and look at for your budget, because people are streaming more and doing things. I am getting service fatigue. And I say that from the perspective of, how many of these $5, $10, $15 services can you subscribe to? And I think we're all starting to max out on that. And then they inch up their prices and everything else. We're Prime members. We have Hulu. We have Netflix. We have Acorn for my mother-in-law. We have whatever the PBS one is that you get for donating to PBS every month. And we have Apple Music. We have Disney Plus. Do we have another one? I don't know. I feel like I just pay and pay for all these services. And that gives me fatigue, but I don't know that it gives the rest of my household fatigue. That they would have the same. We have CBS Plus or whatever CBS one is. But that one we have under a deal. We signed up as Rebecca, and we got a student discount on that while she was still enrolled. That stays good for 4 years, so we get it cheaper than whatever they normally offer it for. Okay, so there is a lot of legislative stuff coming up. So as I mentioned, Congress is back in session next week. They're basically in session till the end of the month, then they're on August recess. So whatever's going to happen with Congress is going to happen very, very fast. And so there's a lot of bills coming out. There's a lot of stuff going on that I am doing my best to stay on top of and in touch with. There are a lot of these guys trying to throw good old-fashioned pork on these bills because these are must-pass bills. How do you fund your states? How do you fund this? How do you help small business? How do you do all these things? And while they're just pumping money out of there, there's a lot of opportunity to slide something else in because people don't want to kill all the good that the bill is doing by opposing one thing, even though the one thing deserves to be opposed. So, so one of those things is next week defense authorization, NDAA legislation, will be considered in both houses of Congress. And amendments may be added to require nearly every business with 20 or fewer employees. So 20 or fewer. Do you have 20 or fewer employees? A lot of people that are watching me tonight have 20. Yeah, I would love their work schedule. This amendment would require nearly every business with 20 or fewer employees to register the full legal names, dates of birth, addresses, and driver's license numbers or passport numbers of business owners with the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, FinCEN. This information will be stored in a government database and accessible to anyone without a subpoena, any law enforcement without subpoena warrant. If this information changes, such as an address change, business owners have to update it or face fines or prosecution. Penalties of up to $10,000 and up to 2 to 3 years in prison for not updating your address that you moved. Well, your timing was perfect on it, Kelly. And so that is obviously something we oppose. This new burden. It's supposed to help with law enforcement and such, but it's really not doesn't help anything. And it's it really doesn't help with anything, Kitty. It's an undue thing. The idea is to help law enforcement track down financial crimes and things, but it's really not helping anything, and it really puts the paperwork burden for that on businesses is huge. I have a calculation somewhere of how much paperwork that's going to add to small businesses, and just when you have no free time to do any of that, and even stay in compliance in the first place. So some of the things that are up in the for legislation, it is Big Brother. And not even the good Big Brother that wants to protect you. So here's a couple of legislative priorities from the National NFIB, National Federation of Independent Businesses, as they are lobbying for next week, and NRF is working with this as well. I'll allow for a second PPP loan. Change the Economic Injury Disaster Loan Program to ensure that loan applications are processed and the full value of the loans delivered. And if the EIDL can't be improved, that they enact a program that quickly delivers long-term, low-interest, flexible working capital loans to small businesses. Eliminate the EIDL advance grant deduction from the PPP loan forgiveness formula. And streamline and simplify the PPP forgiveness process by forgiving small business loans up to $150,000 automatically. Liability protection. Shield small business owners from lawsuits brought by customers or other third parties unless the customer or third party proves that the business willfully failed to develop and implement a plan to reduce the risk of COVID-19 to customers and other third parties, and that the failure caused the injury. grant businesses immunity from COVID-19 related litigation except in cases of gross negligence that causes the plaintiff serious physical injury resulting in hospitalization or death. No claims for emotional injury due to contracting the virus should be permitted. Impose sanctions on attorneys found to bring frivolous COVID-19 related claims. In addition to sanctions, the plaintiff's attorney should be required to pay the defendant's attorney fees and other costs relating to the litigation, and provide that the employer liability for physical injury due to COVID-19 be adjudicated under state workers' comp laws to the extent such liability exists. No separate federal or state tort liability should be permitted for employee injury claims due to the virus. Tax relief. Provide tax relief for small businesses so they can reopen safely, keep and hire. Restore congressional intent by allowing for given PPE expenses to be deductible as ordinary business expenses. Incentivize small businesses to maintain employment by improving interaction between PPP and the Employee Retention Tax Credit and allowing small business owners to utilize both programs. Provide targeted tax relief to assist with operating expenses, reopening supplies, and personal protective equipment as small businesses recover from or continue to be impacted by shutdown orders. Unemployment insurance reform. Reform unemployment insurance so small businesses can quickly fill open positions and get the economy growing again. Prohibit unemployment insurance compensation claims from exceeding an employee's prior wages. Restrict significant tax increases on small businesses as states replenish unemployment insurance trust funds. If the state governments receive federal relief funding. And do not extend the extra $600 a week as currently structured beyond July 31st. Regulatory relief. Protect small businesses from additional regulatory requirements. Include opposes extending federal paid leave mandates beyond December 31st, 2020. Eliminating the small business hardship exemption, mandating new regulatory burdens on business owners, such as the beneficial ownership reporting requirements, which I just talked about, and opposing increased enforcement regulations from OSHA. So those are some of the things directly that the NFIB is going for. And again, this is all happening really fast next week. I mean, next week is going to be on, I was going to say on roller skates, but it's going to be on like a jet rocket. Things are going to come fast and furious legislatively next week. So it is something that is going to occupy a lot of time, but we will stay on top of it. But this one is actually good for us. Retailers welcome a healthy workplace tax credit. Legislation that was introduced today would give businesses a tax credit intended to help defer the cost of employee testing, PPE, cleaning, and other steps needed to make workplaces safer during the pandemic. Consumer-facing businesses are confronting considerable new costs to make their locations safe for their customers and employees. This tax credit addresses many of those new expenses, including the cost of reconfiguring stores and restaurants to provide more distancing and ongoing costs for protective gear and cleaning. The credit is particularly helpful for businesses that are facing reduced sales after months of being closed and are encountering these costs as they take the steps necessary to assure their customers that it's safe to return. The credit under this legislation that was introduced today by Tom Rice from South Carolina, a member of the House Ways and Means Committee, would provide a refundable tax credit for 50% of the costs incurred by businesses for COVID-19 testing, PPE, disinfecting, extra cleaning, and reconfiguring workspace. The credit is limited to $1,000 per employee per quarter for the first 500 of the company's employees. Okay. For example, a 40-employee store or restaurant that spends $60,000 on covered costs would receive a $30,000 credit. If the credit exceeds the employer's payroll tax obligations, the excess would be provided in the form of a refund. Some retailers and restaurants have reported that the cost of safety measures can be as high as $1 million a week. Face masks alone can cost $1 per employee per day, or $30,000 a day for a 30,000 employee retailer. So they're obviously, throwing some bigger numbers out here, but this is very easily comes down to our level, and works at your two-person store, okay, and being able to recoup some of these costs, even through a credit and getting reimbursed through a later refund, is a good thing. It is very expensive. One of the restaurants that I have worked through with this that's been open for takeout, their costs each week have been large, even just in masks. So anything that can be done to help reduce that is good, and get the government buy-in on all these mandates to help with small business is a good thing. So the Healthy Workplace Tax Credit is hopefully coming to a president's desk near you. Hopefully we'll get that through Congress. Really right now it is too early to tell what will come. I've had several people ask, will I get another PPP? Will my PPP get auto-forgiven? I think those both today have a good chance. On PPP auto-forgiveness under $150,000, I think targeted PPP for those that have exhausted their first one and are in certain industries that have been hit harder, such as retail, restaurant, hospitality, travel, and tourism, are in the cards. They may go another way, such as instead of doing that, let you do the employee retention tax credit, or modify that so that we get a kickback another way. So there's a bunch of things on the table. I think there's going to be more. Okay, the biggest concern that I have with all this is that it's going to happen quick. Okay, because there isn't a lot of time before they're at a session, and they're not back in session really till after Labor Day for all intents and purposes. And so whatever happens is going to happen quickly, and there may not be anything else after this until the election, unless things get considerably worse. And again, one of the things you have to keep in mind through all of this, through everything, and this goes right back to the beginning, when this all started. I told you that this is not a straight line from here to recovery, from here to back open, from here to everything being normal. It is not a straight line. Okay, we are using our GPS to stay focused on what we want, okay, but being flexible in how we get there. Just like your GPS in your car takes you around detours and traffic, and you use Waze and it says, no, don't go this way, go the other way. We're having to do that with business, okay, and the decision you make today may not be the decision you make tomorrow, and that's okay. That's okay, okay? We're going to get there, though, because we keep on making those baby steps, okay? Go to your streaming service and watch What About Bob, okay? If you need a baby step, watch What About Bob. All right. And you take your baby steps. And you take your baby steps, one step at a time. Not the next 100 steps, just one step, guys. Ladies and gentlemen. Okay, because that's what this is about. This is about taking one step. And we'll get there. And we'll have a night to get a nap in here somewhere too. I heard from past board member and recently retired not-for-profit member Kevin Campbell today, and he's like, I get to play golf. I get to take a nap. I get to do my wife's to-do list. This retirement thing is really great. He is enjoying it. I heard from him today. But, we're going to get there. And so just keep your eye on the prize. Keep your eye on the prize, and we will get there. Also, be conservative with your resources. That's the other thing that I have to remind you. As you all talked about today, with your great sales, everybody had great sales today. You need to put some of that aside. You need to say, okay, I'm taking 10%, I'm taking 5%, I'm taking $5. It doesn't matter what the amount is. I'm putting that aside for a rainy day. That goes to the rainy day fund. Okay, so that we're keeping on top of it, because there's going to be storms in our future. There's going to be lots of great sunny days, okay, but here and there's going to be some storms. Remember, it's Hurricane Preparedness Week in Massachusetts. We just don't know what kind of hurricane we're going to have. Whether we're going to have a virus hurricane, whether we're going to have a weather hurricane, whether we're going to have a political hurricane, what we're going to have. But we are in hurricane preparedness, and that's just a great analogy to use at this time. All the resources that I talk about here every night, all the resources that I talk about, go over to narts.org/resalestrong by noon the next day. Magically. It's magic. Cassandra and Adele make it all happen. Behind the scenes, they make it all look good and pretty, and it ends out over at narts.org/resalestrong by noon the next day. It's there to keep you guys organized and all the things that we talk about here, but it's also there for you to share with all your friends, regardless of what kind of business they're in. We just want to help everybody get to the other side of this. Butcher, baker, candlestick maker, we're going to get them all to the other side. That's what we want to help them do. When you have a question you don't know the answer to, you just email me, Neil, Neil, at ECIstores.com, Neil at ECIstores.com, and I will get back to you, absolutely positively. Just make sure you include your phone number when you email me, and I will give you a call back. If you get a call from a 508 number, that's from me. We start every night with the Good Morning, Good Night book. The Good Morning, Good Night book is how we start this program every night. Every night we start with the Good Morning, Good Night book. Our good morning, in case you weren't here at the top of the program, was, good morning, you've had too many apps open for too long. Close your eyes, check all systems, soft reboot. Our good night tonight is good night. Don't wait until low power mode. Close your eyes. Close all unnecessary apps. Recharge. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Neil Abramson. I do like a good party, a bar mitzvah, a wedding even. Any kind of party that you're at, I want to be there with you, and we will party again before you know it. I will be back here tomorrow night at more 8 Than Ish. More 8 Than Ish tomorrow night, live here in the Narts private Facebook group. I do need recipes for this Self-Care Sunday, so if you got anything you want to send me some recipes to Neil, Neil, at ECIstores.com, so we can have some great recipes for Self-Care Sunday. We had a trifecta last week, and I can only imagine what you'll all put together this weekend. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll be back again tomorrow at more 8 Than Ish, but until then, know that you, and especially you, are not alone running this store. No, you're not. I'll see you tomorrow, everybody. It's time for dessert. Have a great night.